What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, we got our best tier list for the characters in Destiny Rising. Like and sub for more amazing gaming content. We don't got too many heroes to go over at the beginning, but the game will have more introduced later on with monthly updates. I think this is going to be my personal opinion, my take on the characters as of right now. Of course, as we get new characters, the tier list can definitely change. And you can see characters go up or down on the list depending on the new raids we get, depending on all kinds of new content we may get. Let's jump into this. First one we got is going to be Jolder. Now, I think Jolder is probably my favorite character in the game right now. Just absolutely insane tank. I would say Jolder is probably like one of the easiest characters to play, and is very forgiving if you make mistakes. You get the ally overshield, your ultimate goes ahead and does like a barrier to just completely stop damage. You do have a taunt ability, so you do have an ability that kind of draws aggro. However, when you do that ability, it also changes your rage into healing over time. So you actually just instantly heal up a bunch as you're taking damage. So you have that recovery. You also do have this ability called the Shield of Starlight, which is kind of like, I want to say it's an AoE damage, but it hits multiple enemies. Overall, it's just a really fun character to play. It's really easy to play. It does pretty much everything. And then when you put the artifacts on this character, you can have special artifacts where you do more damage by having an overshield. You're constantly going to be having an overshield with this character. So, you know, there's a lot of fun stuff going on with this one. So for me, this is easily, I'm putting this as a top tier S character for right now. The next one we got is going to be Ning Fei, I think is how you say it. This character is, man. Honestly, this was like my first 5-star character that I got, and I thought this was a pretty good one. But then once I unlocked Jolder, I was like, wow, Jolder is so much better. And as I was kind of continuing to play on, I was like, Ning Fei, it just, I don't know. Just kind of feels like it's not the greatest. Like, it's okay for right now, but I definitely think from what I've saw, when we do get some extra characters added, this character right here definitely will drop drastically in the tier list. You have your damage resistance, corrupt, summoning ability. The summoning ability is kind of cool, where you create a clone and the clone does chain lightning around enemies if they get in the circle. You also have your ultimate, which is the Arts of Staff, where you do chain lightning attacks. And then the lightning strike, if you already have like a clone, the clone does it with you. So there's like some decent things going on with this character, but unfortunately, you know, I just don't think they're that great. In fact, I feel like they're actually probably the weakest of like all the 5-star legendaries that we have in the game currently. So for me, I'm going to actually go ahead. I'm going to rank Ning Fei as like an A. I think a solid A. Next one we got is going to be a Tyla, however you want to say this. Pretty decent healer. A little bit easier to kind of get a duplicate copies for her talent tree. She also has some really cool relic effects, her special abilities. You got enters the super, which you can fire bird-shaped arc projectiles at combatants. We've got the immediately heals a specified ally. So you got instant healing on that ability. You also have the arc missile, ricochets between targets. You get a little bit of blind. Blinding is a pretty, you know, it's not, I feel like maybe it could be an underestimated effect, putting blind on the enemies. But I think she's really good. One of the decent purple characters that we have. Really good healer if you need a healer on your team, definitely for like raids or something. For me, I'm going ahead, putting her in the top right there in the A area. Next one we got is going to be Zhan Wei, I think is how you say it. We got the knockback, confinement, crowd control. I like the crowd control. He has some pretty good abilities with like the knockback and stuff. I think this is one that people may butcher me in the comments for in my ranking with this one. I like some of the abilities. You're able to pull them in and stuff, and the knockback. Yeah, okay. Like, I don't know. I just like, I feel like there's some better characters out in there. For me, he's like a B plus, A minus. I'm sure a lot of people will definitely say he's like an A, but I'm gonna put him in like the B plus area for just right now. Next one we got is gonna be Akura. Now, Akura almost feels like she does kind of, you know, the same similar play style almost as the other guy that we just mentioned, with the fact that you have, like, you know, crowd control, confinement. You know, it's slightly different, but I feel like they're kind of going based in like the same ability of like the crowd control stuff. I think she's kind of weaker though. I would choose the Wei guy over her Akura. I think Akura is probably one of the weaker characters we have right now at launch. For my opinion for our tier list, we're gonna go ahead, I'm actually put her in the C. I would definitely choose a lot of these other ones over her. And then the next one we got is gonna be Kabar, however you want to say this. We got the Thunder Shield, Barrier, Recovery, Blind. See, the thing with this is like, okay, this is a pretty decent character, but you know, Jolder is so much better. This is like a very, very weak version of Jolder, right? It's like, I guess you could say it's the free-to-play friendly version, but you know, I'm free to play and I got Jolder from the banner very easily. And you know, so I don't know, man. I just feel like this character is okay, but I wouldn't really want to waste my materials on them. They're not as good. You know, there's better defensive characters. So for me, I feel like this is a C character. I feel like this is one of the weakest ones we have right now currently in the game, putting them at the bottom. Moving along, the next one we got is going to be Wolf. This is the main character. Pretty much everyone starts off with this character. You have to use them in all of the main quest storylines. You get some really good weapons. In fact, you get your very first exotic is a grenade launcher. So, you know, that helps out a decent amount. I think, you know, and we also have events going on where if you power up Wolf, you get additional materials. So overall, it's hard for me to say that Wolf is really a bad character. I think Wolf is actually pretty good, pretty strong. And overall, I think Wolf is just a very well-rounded character with the offense. And for that instance, I think Wolf is about an A for me. I think it's right up there. Not quite an S. I know some people might put him as an S. I've even seen some people rank Wolf as an S tier. But for me, I think Wolf is pretty solid at the A tier. All right, moving along. We only got a couple left. We got our next one's going to be Gwynn. This is the Chase character. She has her own exclusive banner. Right now, she is insanely strong. I'd say one of the top tier offensive damage dealers in the game. I do know that we are going to get access to other characters. We're actually going to get a new character. What is it? Is it next month or the month after that? But we're going to get other characters. And I believe that this one kind of falls off on the tier list once we get those other high offensive power damage dealers. That's one thing to just be cautious about. Right now, this character is really good. In fact, I would go ahead, easily put her at the top tier S. However, you know, in a couple months, we're going to get some other characters, and I feel like she is going to eventually drop down to the A. Next one we have is going to be Tan2. Now, Tan2, I think, is arguably the best healer in this game. Atil, however you say her name. I remember she was like the budget, free-to-play, friendly, you know, healer. This is like, I don't want to say pay to win, but if you get this character, even if you're free to play, this character is just way better at healing. It's basically a better version of Atil. You get healing, you get the ally damage bonus with your ultimate ability. You know, it's just an overall probably the best support in this game. So for me, easily is going to be another top tier S character. All right, and finishing it off, we got Finola. Finola is like another one that I would say is a weaker version of Jolder. She's got the taunt, she's got recovery, she's got damage resistance, crowd control, suppression. I mean, she's literally kind of very similar to Jolder, aside from, like, you know, we have the blazing barrier, it follows us, it reduces damage. So I mean, the blazing barrier is kind of cool because it follows the character, whereas with Jolder, when you go ahead and you put down your barrier, it's stationary. So, like, you know what I mean, characters have to be in it. It's slightly different, I understand that, but you know, it's a very little bit of a different kind of take, kind of different play style in the sense. But I think this is like an okay character. I feel like a little bit more niche. So like in certain situations, this can be I don't want to say a better character than Jolder. Maybe if you need like a tank that Jolder can't do stuff like this, then I could see this character being a little bit better. But overall, I think it's like a solid B for me. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in the B area for right now. Leave a like if you agreed with my tier list. Leave a dislike if you did not agree with my tier list, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.